We're going to start at the end of the top line because we left some things without due discussion. And then on the line, Bezehu, Ma. They concluded that Re'iyah and Shmiyah have a fundamental distinction, not only on a functional level, but in their very essence. Where Re'iyah relates to the mehusam and etzem hadover, to the primary reality of the thing that it sees, not its component, its consistency, or its structure, anything like that. Just what is it about, the real thing? Why is it there? That's what the ear relates to. I want to add another notch to what we already discussed in this vein. We spoke about something which is a little bit elusive. Nonetheless, it is something which everybody experiences, the sky. We have all kinds of different ideas of what we see with the sky when we observe the sky. What is the essence? What is the primary reality of this observation? I'm just going to go straight to it. The primary reality of this observation is not what it looks like, not how it draws attention. It is the sky for the earth. It surrounds the entire world. It is that which gives the world its realization. Yes, it is encompassed. There is a defining element in it.
What does that mean, a defining element?
It defines what the world is. There's much to speak about this, because I'm sure that everybody experiences this in one way or the other. In Shulchan Aruch it says that when you wake up in the morning, you should look through the window. Why? That's when you see that there is a reality. It's not your bed and your table and chair. There is an overall reality that encompasses this whole thing. That's what the sky is about. This is what is attractive to sight. Sight is not an attempt to say, what is it? What is it made of? Not interested. I'm seeing what the reality is. As long as I see what the reality, I can go and I can get up and we spoke about it many times. The principle that a person can stand up on 2 feet is because he sees the sky. This is Re'iyah, because Re'iyah is reflective of the Chayz HaNefesh, of the Nefesh itself, of the ratzon. That's why it's that Seichel is rooted in ratzon. In ratzon, we're not trying to justify what do I want and why do I want it. Ratzon is an essential reality. I want. And it's not, again, because we shouldn't confuse it, I want a sugar candy. I want means the will, the principle of will. I want to live. I want to relate to the truth. I want to be there.
I just wanted to see if I followed this last. We had the sky, which is Re'iyah, and then we went to Seichel, which is surrounded by ratzon. Was that?
Yeah, well, right. Re'iyah is chochmah at the physical level. I'm sorry, I'll jump around, but it's something which we discussed all the time.
Which is in itself encompassed by ratzon, which is like sky.
One does not question his chochmah. One does not question his emunah. Okay. V'zehu, it's at the end of that line, the top line. V'zehu, and that is the principle. That is pointed out by the fact that of the fact shehakoiches ho'elo, that these koiches, this in that these koiches, that the difference between Re'iyah and Shmiyat and Re'iyah relates to the reality itself. This is pointed out by the fact that shehakoiches ho'elo, that these koiches kishaboyim bekelim shalahem, when they are placed in their kelim. What is kelim? A very broad subject. Kelim is that state where a principal inyan, a real neshama inyan, a human inyan, is placed in a state of a demarcated place where it can actually be identified as an entity, as a presence. The easiest motion of this, which requires a little bit of insight. You have water in a cup. We explained many times, water in a cup is not the same water that is in the basin or in the lake. Water in a cup is identified, is defined not by the water element, but by the human consumption of water. And in order to enable the human being to consume water in a proper way, there's a cup. The inyan that the human being has to consume water is not created by the cup, It is an essential element in what the human being is. This essential Inyan that a human being has to consume water, then is defined within a keli, which expresses this principle that a human being has to consume water. You follow what I'm saying? This cup is an expression of the human relating to consumption of water. This is the keli for the essential Inyan, for the nefesh element in the human being, that he has to consume water. In that original Inyan that the human being has to consume water, there is no cups. There is not even water. There is the Inyan that this water has to fit into his being in a proper way. Am I floating away, or are we together?
The point that when you're talking about kalim, it's defined by the environment as opposed to the purpose of water, or it's defined by the parameters that that exist on some kind of lower level.
Yeah, but what is it defining? That's a question, right?
No, I'm trying to just give you feedback.
Or you want the feedback?
I'm trying to give
Give me feedback. So here's the thing that I pointed out today, which I never pointed out before. A cup of water speaks not of the water, but of the human being. And what aspect in the human being? You always say that there's the dignity of the human being, he has to drink in a certain way. It speaks on a higher level that a human being has to consume water. This consumption of water, this is the essential element. When a person is thirsty, he's not thirsty for a cup of water. He's thirsty for water.
And this idea that a person has to consume water, this is an essential value within
the structure of the human being.
even on a on a human
level, this is right. This is yeah, but this is an essential Inyan.
Why? For some reason, dignity is easier to relate to.
No, dignity is how he consumes water. What is water? You're going. What is water? Water is that which keeps things moving, fresh. It's a lubricant. And it permits everything else to function properly. So this water, which is an essential Inyan in the human structure, comes into a keli. And the keli is that which enables the human being to consume this water in a human manner. Instead of throwing the human being into the basin or in a lake, and let him take in that much water like he could and reject the other like the fish. No, he takes water in a controlled manner without losing his status, his standing. This is the keli for the aspect, for the concept of drinking water. Coming back to Re'iyah, Re'iyah represents the aspect in the consciousness of the person, in the nefesh odom, but ultimately in the consciousness of the person, that there is a reality. The first consciousness of the person, the first recognition of the person is that life is real. It is not merely what I feel about it. This is why the Shulchan Aruch begins. When one wakes up in the morning, you know, you have to say, I didn't learn anything about the Creator. Where do I come to say, the minute I open my eyes, the reality of it simply reveals itself to me. The Rebbe once, there's a, if I may say so, a classic sikha from Rebbe about Moedei Ayin Lefanecha. Pardon me for that expression. This isn't a Chassidus expression, but it is a kind of a unique type of thing. The Rebbe says, Moedei Ayin Lefanecha shechzarti bi nishmosi. What nishmosi? Neshama. You give me a neshama back. So the Rebbe says, no. Ayin does not just accept any neshama. If nishmosi, my neshama. With all that it stands for, with all that I relate to, that permits me to go on with my life, permits me to further improve, so to speak, on what I already did.
What's the emphasis? What's the emphasis there in terms of?
The emphasis there, what?
In terms of why you're bringing it now, in terms of what we're learning.
Oh, that that there is the consciousness. The minute you wake up, you recognize that there's a reality, and the reality is my reality. I'm not lost in the big world. I have my world.
Sorry, I want to understand what's the difference between the big reality, like he looks in the sky and he sees that there's a reality, regardless of how I feel or what I feel, there's a reality, versus my reality. What is
my reality? Means that I am a real participant in reality. It doesn't make my reality. It is mine. I'm not a stranger here. And I don't seek to know that which is strange to me, like those idiots saying, I want to know what's beyond this. What is my life about? Because I sense my life is real. What is it about? what we know, and this is internal, this is the reality of the person. And that ultimately is mislabish in koyach hariyah. It's expressed in koyach hariyah. Because in Riyah I see that the world is real. It connects with the internal reality of the ratzon, and connects that with the world that I see, with the world in which I function.
So Riyah ultimately leads to Taifas Damagashmi.
Right.
And
1 second. Why is it Taifas Damagashmi?
Yeah.
Because Damagashmi, this is the reality of the world, the physical world.
So when it's in Kalim, then he's Damagashmi, because this is the
what is the world? What is its basic presence? It's the Gashmius in the world. You have a table we say is a nefesh inyan, but when is the table actualized? It's actualized when it is built in a physical way.
So the sky is like the origin, the source of reality, but the consummation of that is in the physical, in the object that's there.
The sky we also see physically. Let me again go back and ask you. There's so much, if you're going to try to connect everything that we say, we'll never get out of it. Let's understand each concept, it put its own value. Because we have it, it's real. So why do you need to connect it to everything else?
Right, but just this, we've looked at the sky quite closely today and before.
The reason I looked at the sky is because the sky...
No experience, no definition.
That's right. That is what you see the etzem, a mehusam.
Yeah, okay.
What is the mehusam of the sky? I'll try to explain. What do you see? Not what appears, what its reality is. This is why you continue to see it.
Right.
Wherever I go, there is the sky.
So
that's the meaning of the sky.
When he's Taifas Damagashmi, it's that he sees reality in Gashmi. The Gashmi is...
That sees that the world is real.
Almost beyond the definition of that physical item. He sees embedded in that davar gashmi.
In order for me to bring anything human to the reality world, I have to place it in some kind of a physical case. Like a cup. I can drink water from clapping my hand. I can drink water, but it's not real. Not only gives you the water, it doesn't give me a sense that the world supplies water for me. That's why Shabbos, there is what's Shulchan Shabbos. It's a table. Everything has to be set. Come to the Seder, it's all set up.
Somebody had to set it up.
Somebody has to set it up.
It takes effort.
It takes effort. I know what Shmuel is
Interesting.
about.
So this davar gashmi, this is like a validation. This is
a keli for that principle, for that neshama principle. I'm going to have a Seder. What does that mean? Oh, I'm going to say Haggadah. No, I'm going to have a Seder.
What's the point? Sorry. Point is that the Inyan is that it's all set up. Is that
all set up in Gashmi is that defines it as a reality.
And the Seder is what defines whatever that.
The Seder is the reality
that
you're trying to define. I just want the child is going to ask him Nissan. And we say we have to do all kinds of things for them to ask questions. No, they will ask Nissan, finished. No, they have to feel in their very bone that there's something different happening. How do they feel? They see it's a different table. We change it. So in these keches, shaboyim bekelim shalahem, when they come into their kelim that is suited for them, horiyot efased over gashmi dalgav kelim relates to over gashmi davko, ushmiya dover ruchni, and shmiya relates to dover ruchni. Shezehu, when this distinction is lefi mehusam atzmi shalahem, it is based on their essential reality. This is why they distinguish in the kelim.
Why Shmiya Davar Ruchni?
Because Shmiya has to have a content. Riya doesn't need to have a content. This is the mitzvahs. What am I telling you? You have to interrupt. Best that I remember is Friday today. Hopefully we get together tonight. Okay, have a great day. Shabbos. A good Shabbos Agodol.